Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to do a quick revision of chapter number 6, chemical reactions, and this will be our final revision of this chapter, after which we are going to start new chapter, hydrogen. So let us quickly start our revision, recall what we have learned. Okay, so in this chapter we started this chapter by chemical bonds, and we learned that the attractive forces that holds atoms or ions together to form molecule or compounds are called chemical bonds. These chemical bonds are of two types. The first one is called ionic bonds or electrovalent bonds. In this type of bond, metal reacts with non-metals to form ionic compounds, and they are made up of oppositely charged ions, cations and anions. Another type of chemical bonds which we learned was covalent bond. Covalent bond. Covalent bond is formed between two atoms of same type or of different type by mutual sharing of electrons. So when electrons are shared between atoms forming molecule, then they form covalent bond, and the compounds formed are called covalent compounds. Examples of covalent bonds are found in hydrogen gas, chlorine gas, methane gas, water molecule. So they all contain covalent bond. Whereas sodium chloride is an example of electrovalent bond. Okay, boys. So this was the first learning which we did in this chapter, that is about chemical bonds. Then we learned about types of reactions. Before we went to types of reaction, we also learned that the substances which react in a chemical reaction are called reactants, and the substances that are produced as a result of reactions are called products. Okay, now there are how many types of reactions that we learned? There are 4 different types of reactions. They are combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, and double displacement reactions. Combination reaction is a type of reaction in which two substances they combine together to give new product. Decomposition reaction is a type of reaction in which one substance decomposes, breaks down to form 2 or more different substances. Displacement reaction is a reaction in which the substance or the metal at the higher position in the activity series displaces means removes the substance which is in the low position in the activity series from the given substance. Okay, double displacement reaction is a type of reaction in which the products are formed by interchange of ions between two reactants. And we learned 2 different types of double displacement reactions. They are precipitation reaction and neutralization reaction. Now over here I will revise the activity series. Okay, I'll also revise the mnemonics which I gave you. I hope you all have learned that mnemonics. So I'm going to revise that mnemonics once again for you all. So the given activity series is potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, nickel, tin, lead, hydrogen, copper, mercury, silver, gold, and platinum. So these metals, this is the series of metals, and in this series we have hydrogen as the only non-metal. They are arranged in such a way that the most reactive metal is placed at the top. As we come down, their reactivity decreases, and Therefore, platinum has the lowest reactivity, or platinum is least reactive, whereas potassium is the most reactive metal. So how to remember this series? There is a mnemonic which I gave you, and that mnemonics tells us that केदारनाथ का माली आलू जरा फीकी नहीं स्पाइसी पकाता है. Call me something good please. Okay, केदारनाथ का माली आलू जरा फीकी नहीं स्पाइसी पकाता है. Why? Because he always used to call me something good please. So this is how we remember their order in the reactivity series. We also learned the two types of double displacement reactions, and they are precipitation reaction and neutralization reaction. The precipitation reaction is a type of double displacement reaction in which one of the product formed is insoluble. That means does not dissolve, and those insoluble products are called precipitates. For example, silver nitrate reacts with sodium chloride. They both are salt. They react with each other to form silver chloride and sodium nitrate. So silver chloride is insoluble and forms a precipitate. So this is a type of precipitation reaction. Then we learned about neutralization reaction. So a double displacement reaction in which acids and bases react with each other to form salt and water. They are called neutralization reaction. Remember, the reaction of acids with bases to form salt and water are called neutralization reaction. Okay, for example, let's take this one, sodium hydroxide. So this is a base. Sodium hydroxide reacts with hydrochloric acid. So this is acid. So this is a reaction of base with acid. So this has to be neutralization reaction. Let's see. It produces salt, NaCl. So this is salt, sodium chloride, and water. So whenever acids react with bases to form salt and water, then that is neutralization reaction. Okay, we generally don't write double displacement reaction. It is a type of double displacement reaction, but we write it as neutralization reaction because here acids and bases, they neutralize each other to form neutral salt and water. Both are neutral. Am I clear, boys? Now there are some important applications of this neutralization reaction in our everyday life. One of them is, we all know that when we eat something, then that food gets digested first in our mouth with the help of saliva, then it goes to our stomach. Over there, that food gets digested with one important chemical produced by our stomach, gastric glands, and that chemical is known as hydrochloric acid. So in our stomach, hydrochloric acid gets formed, and this hydrochloric acid helps in the further digestion of the food that we eat. Now sometimes what happens is our stomach, our gastric gland, produces too much of hydrochloric acid. So at that time we say that we are suffering from acidity. That means there are more acid than usual, and this causes pain and irritation in our stomach. Now to reduce the amount of acid produced in our stomach, what do? We add base, because we know neutralization reaction is a reaction which neutralizes the effect of acid as well as the effect of base. So if there are more acid in our stomach, to reduce the effect of this acid, what do? We add base. And we don't eat any base. We usually eat milk of magnesia, and that is actually magnesium hydroxide. So Mg OH2. So this is base, magnesium hydroxide. So this is acid and this is base. Therefore, it will produce salt and water. The salt which it will produce is MgCl2 and H2O. So in this way, the acid quantity in our stomach gets reduced, and we say that we are now relieved from acidity, pain and irritation caused by excess amount of acid produced. Okay, boys. Another application of neutralization is in making our soil appropriate or suitable for plants, growth of plants, because plants normally grow in a neutral soil. So if our soil is acidic, little acidic, then we have to lower the acidic nature of the soil, bring it down to neutral form. Therefore, what do we do? We add bases, some bases such as calcium hydroxide, calcium oxide. So this addition of bases in acidic soil is called liming the soil. Why do we do liming of soil? To bring down the acid level of the soil to neutral form by adding bases. Or sometimes what happens is the soil becomes more basic or alkaline, which also is not good for plant growth of plant. Therefore, what we need to do now in that case, we need to add acids. And how do we add acid to an alkaline soil? By adding manure such as cow dung or our compost. So in this way we use the neutralization reaction for our benefits. Okay, boys, so this is a quick revision, and finally I forgot to tell you, and finally we learned about oxides and their different types. Oxides are formed when metals or non-metals react with oxygen in the air. Okay, and there are 4 different types of oxides, and they are acidic oxide. Okay, which acidic oxides are those oxides which react with water to form acids. Basic oxides are those oxides which react with water to form bases. Amphoteric oxides are those oxides which behaves both as acid as well as bases. And finally, neutral oxides, which are neither basic nor acidic. Example, carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, nitric oxide. These are neutral oxides. So this was a complete revision of our chapter, chemical reaction. I hope you are clear about this chapter, different types of chemical reactions. Okay, so today I'll give you last written exercise so that the types of chemical reactions and the chemical equations becomes clear to you all. This much for today, boys. Thank you. Stay safe, stay at home, and do all things well.